Yo, welcome back to a new vid. This is the series where I read a chapter of a new book every single day, and then I come and tell you guys exactly what I've learned so that you guys don't have to do the reading yourself. So, as you know, the book we're reading is Atomic Habits, and today I'm actually going to do a summary. I finished the book now, finished the last chapter yesterday, but we're actually just going to start talking about my key takeaways from the book and how everyone else can apply it in real life as well. So I always like to preface these videos by talking about the reason the book's called Atomic Habits in the first place. The author mentions at the start of the book that your habits are the atoms of your life. It's what's led you to where you are now. It's what's going to determine the trajectory of your life, where you're going to end up in the future. And it's what determined where you were in the past as well. Like the things you do on a daily basis without even thinking about it, things you do automatically, your habits that you might not even have taken real notice of, that's what's led you to where you are now. And it's what's going to determine where you are years down the line in the future. But if you break it down on a granular level, you're just the sum of the habits that you've been doing on a consistent basis. Now, for me, what I always say is like, you don't want to live life on AFK. And if you're a gamer, you know what that is. It's where you just let life pass you by. You're kind of like on standby, right? It's like throwing a stick into a river, into a stream, and it just goes downstream, and it just lets it take it wherever it wants to go. But if you really want to change the trajectory of your life, you've got to take into account what's actually going on. You've got to do an audit of your habits. Does this serve me? Does this not serve me? And you've got to work your way from there. And if it does serve you, keep it. And the ones that don't serve you, you've got to find a way to stop doing those. Now, the main takeaway from this book is it starts off by speaking about the benefits of compounding, right? A lot of people try and take massive action whenever they want to start something new or build a new habit. But what they've got to realize is it's about your time in the game, right? Like how long have you been doing this for in order to see compounding results? Like if you're able to improve a little bit, like even if it's 1% on a daily basis, I know it's cliche, but 1% a day for a whole year, that's 365% better in a year's time, right? So when you actually think about it, right, if you wanna, most people's problem is they can't do things for a long enough time to see the compounding effects, right? Because eventually, as things build up, as the positive results, as the compounding builds up, you're gonna see massive, massive results, right? But most people can't stick to things for long enough to be able to see that. So how can you actually make sure you get to that point where you see the compounding results? You've got to design a system that allows you to do those habits on a regular, consistent basis if you want to be able to get there, right? And there's four laws of behavior change. The first one is make it obvious, second one is make it attractive, third one is make it easy, fourth one is make it satisfying. So it talks more about diving into the way your brain has evolved, the way your brain works, right? To make habits a lot easier. It basically talks about the way you can design your environment, you know, the way you can engineer certain cues to start certain habits, the way you can basically design your habits right so that you can do them on a consistent basis long enough to see the positive results from it. And you've been doing, the compounding effects your whole life without even realizing it, whether it's good or whether it's bad. If you go to the gym consistently and you've been training for a few years, you're gonna see the results that that compounding has done for you, right? But on the flip side as well, if you've been eating like horribly for the last few years and you don't really take good care of yourself, once every now and then, it's not really gonna add up that much. But when you do it for a long enough time horizon, you're going to see that it's going to have a super, super negative effect on you long term. And really taking this into account is why it's so important to actually do an audit so you can actually see the trajectory of where you're going, right? Never live life on AFK. And like I always mention, it's remarkable what you can actually build with longevity if you don't stop. Like it's remarkable the physique you build if you just keep going and you turn up every single day and you do what the work that needs to be required, right? And you can do this from engineering your habits to a point where you don't even have to think about it too tough, but you're literally engineering your life to be, you're designing what you want to become through your habits. Simple as. It's like a system. It's like a well-oiled machine. It's like a factory that runs in the background. Each process has its own, each process has its own reason for being there, and it all works in tandem. But it's remarkable the business that you build if you just don't give up, if you just keep going. It's remarkable the physique you can build. It's remarkable the knowledge you can build if you just keep reading every single day. It's remarkable, the fluency in a different language that you can build if you just keep learning every single day. So longevity is the key, but to get that longevity and the benefits from longevity, you've got to put in the right systems in place to do the habits on a consistent basis, right? And also on the flip side, right, I know I mentioned make it obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. Now, if you want to stop a bad habit, you've got to do the opposite of that. So you've got to make it unattractive, hard to do, painful, and the first one as well, which is you've got to hide it. So don't make it obvious so that you don't see the cue. But yeah, and I guess the biggest takeaway to kind of wrap things up is that there's no finish line. You're always on a constant cycle of refinement, self-improvement, etc. So it's really important that, like I said, you don't live life on AFK. You get 1% better on a daily basis, but to do that, you've got to build the right systems in place in order to yield the results from compounding over a long period of time. Because that's how life works. Nothing worth having ever comes super quickly. I know there's, circumstances where it does happen, like someone might become a crypto millionaire overnight, but that's like the 5%, the 2%, the 1%. Generally in life, anything worth having takes time to build, and there's no two ways about it. That's all it is. Anything worth having takes time to build, but in order to build that, you need to be in the game for long enough. But in order to be in the game for long enough and not fall off after a couple of weeks, after that first initial boost of motivation kind of disappears, you've got to build the right systems that are going to keep you in the game long term. That's what I took away from the book. Simple as. And speaking on that as well, I know I mentioned motivation. You never want to be in a position where you're having to rely on motivation to to do things long term. Like, motivation is a finite resource. It's not going to carry you over the finish line. It's good to kickstart, to ignite the flame, but it's not enough to keep going. So systems that are going to keep you in the game every single day, improving, refinement, but you never want to be relying solely on motivation. Like, bro, this is real life, man. Come on, this is not anime. You're not gonna have to. You're not gonna have the energy to power up every single day. It just doesn't work like that. Eventually, you're gonna be like, yo, I cannot be bothered. Let me just go back to my old ways. And another gem as well that I remember from the book is when it comes to a streak of habits that you've been doing right, missing it one day or missing it once, skipping out on it once, is a mistake. We're not all perfect. However, when you do it twice, that's the beginning of a new habit. So you never want to fall completely off something. We all have our off days, but another factor that really drives home the point of compounding interest is not just doing it when you feel like it as well. It's doing it when you don't feel like it, because that's what's gonna matter long term. Anyone can do something when they feel good, but when you actually don't feel good but you still turn up, that's what's important. That's what's gonna count, and that's what's gonna allow you to yield the results of compound interest. But that's about it, the video for today. We're going to keep it light. The next book we'll be reading is, I'm saving it for the next video, but appreciate you guys being here. Catch you tomorrow.